everybody, it's Sharon here. Welcome back to my channel for those who are returning, and welcome to any new subscribers that may be visiting for the first time. I am just auditioning some papers for my next task. I could go with the same papers that I use for the journaling cards, but I decided I wanted to use something a little bit different. So I'm just looking at the ARTYmaze. They're the collage papers 2. And I've decided I really like this sheet here against these papers. So I'm hoping you can see that okay. I really love those together. I think they're just beautiful. And it's also picking up the blue in this paper here with the postage stamp and the writing. So I've decided to pull this one out. And I also want to use some of the collage papers at the back, and I'm thinking that this, if I can pick it up, this one here might work really well with those colours, and perhaps the pink is probably the best match for these papers. I'm not even sure if you can see that okay, but I thought that would be okay to use as well. So I'm going to pull those 3 out of this paper pad or paper pack. And pop that one aside. I do have my papers here that I've used already, so I'm just going to sit those at the back of my desk. And then I have in here and I probably will need to leave those in the folder just so I don't mix them up with my other papers, but okay. And then I thought I might try these VectoriaDesign papers. As I said, there's something about these that are calling out to me, and I really love. Are you able to see? You are able to see. Not very well, but I'm kind of working with limited space here. I really love the navies in this. They just really talk to me. So I really liked the colours in this one. And I'm just checking to see, I think there was another, actually towards the back, oh, wrong paper pad. And I could probably use this one that's borderless because I'm only going to tear the borders off anyway. I'll just stick with what I've got out. Now I can't get it back in. Okay, so I'm just checking. I thought there was one with clouds that I quite like too, to go with this paper pad. And it wasn't this one with the lines. There's one without lines that I was thinking. Even these colours work quite well with the colour in the butterfly wings. That one I was thinking. No, I like the colours in this one better. Quite like that one as well. And I really like the yellows. I don't have a lot of the yellow in there at this stage, so perhaps I'll pull that one out. And maybe that one, I really only want 2, so I'm not sure about those. And then I did want to have a look at a couple of these as well. I like the colour of that. And also that one, they're very similar actually. I don't want to put red in here because there's no red in the papers. I don't mind that with the blue down there. I like the busyness of that one, but again, it's got the red on it. Oh, I think I like that one. It's nice and busy. And that one's the same. Okay. So that's those. Oh, my paper clip is over here. Okay, so where did I pull those from? From here. I'll set those on top because they're the ones I want to use. And I also wanted to include some of these laces. So these are the burlap and lace. So I'm thinking that one. Maybe that one, not that one. That one's okay. I'm kind of looking, I didn't realize what I was doing until just a second ago. I'm kind of looking at the color of the burlap itself to see what I think will work. They seem to have a warmer tone to them, the ones I'm choosing, which are probably the ones that I put on the tissue paper because I'm quite sure I chose those the same way. Okay, so that's a couple of those that I've got to play with. So I have ARTYmaze, VectoriaDesign, I have the burlap. I need one more paper set. And I'm kind of steering towards the AntiquePaperie. I just don't know which set. Sorry, I'm flicking through. I still really like that paper. I just don't know that it's appropriate for that whimsical feel. Okay, and I've got here so this is the Northbrook. Oh, how fun is that? Oh, I think I'll have to go with that. The blue's not quite right. Quite like that one. I think those two. Okay. Happy days. Now, in true me fashion, my next project, again, bigger than Ben-Hur. And so they go that way. I'm quite excited to be adding the navy into my papers. Okay, now I was going to do this off camera and I don't know whether I'll include this or not, or whether I'll just zoom past or fast forward, or I have this old book here. It's literally falling apart. and that page has just come out. I'm not even sure it was sitting in there properly. It's a little bit worn, that page. I might go to the middle of the book. Oh, and again falling out. Okay, so I want maybe 6. 1, 2. This paper is actually quite thick compared to some. So initially when I had this, thought I was going to glue some pages together, but given what this paper is like, I don't think I'll need to. I'm just looking for the middle of the signature and it's not coming to me as easily as I thought it would. The middle of any signature at this stage would be great. Actually, it's almost the right height that way. I'm wondering if I can do that in half. It's clearly had a repair. Oh, how adorable. Right, that's not going to come out. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, I'm not sure I'll use that one, 4, 5, 6, perfect. I'm in love with that picture. Okay, so my idea is to make either, well, it's to make pages. I was thinking I would have to make them separately and join them together, but now I'm thinking it won't be necessary. If I fold this in half, so we're always talking about what to do with book pages, and I was thinking about this size book page. Now this is a Reader's Digest book, and I have been using some children's storybooks for the inside pages for this journal. Here we go here, and this one here. So they're roughly the same size. They're perhaps a little bit smaller, which is perfectly okay. And I'm just wondering, actually, they're a little bit bigger. If I pop that in there, okay, that works. So we need to decorate. So I'm going to decorate front and back, probably sew around. My idea is to have tuck spots either at the top or at the side on each one, and some of them I think two. Oh, I may need an extra one. I'm working per signature in my head, sorry. So I want probably 4 double-sized sheets. Okay, let's just go with that for now. Okay, which papers are we going to use? Let's move this along. Okay, so working with the AntiquePaperie first because it was on top and that's what I picked up. So I'm just tearing off my white edges. Oops. Sometimes feels like it's a process to get what's in my head out. So I'm sorry if my videos at the moment are a little higgledy-piggledy because it's not really my intention. I thought about choosing the papers and the book papers and things off camera, but then it doesn't really let you into the whole process, I guess. Okay. Right. And I'm just working towards quite an easy collage idea. So taking that, and I'm going to tear that into 3. Now my opening is at the top there. Oops, that's the edge. Okay, so what do I want to put with that? I think that would be pretty. So I may decide to make these smaller again, I'm thinking. Sorry, I'm not feeling very chatty today, am I? I think the last couple of videos I've been a bit like that, and I've been trying to sort space for making videos, and I went to do something this morning and realized that my space was full again, which brings everything to a standstill. So I've been trying to sort that out, and I've had a couple of phone calls today, so I've been busy with that as well. I think it needs to go that way. So yes, I've been busy on the phone, and I feel like this is kind of the first time I've had to just, well, I was going to say stop. I'm not necessarily stopped, but breathe perhaps. As I said, I watched parts of a couple of the videos that I've done back today, and I just went, I sound like a cracked record. I felt like I was repeating myself over and over things, and I guess I was kind of working on the same journaling cards at the time, so it kind of makes sense. But oops, that went a little bit skew-iff. That's okay. So I don't want these to be torn as wide. Sorry. Stop mid-sentence. And I possibly only need 3. I might, oh, do I want to do that? Sorry, I think I just bumped the camera stand. Oops. Okay, so I do want something else in there. And I'm thinking my tea stained paper might be nice in there. And I just want to choose one colour. I don't want to overcomplicate it. And I'm looking at the colours and I'm thinking either pink or green. So that works quite well, but it's very loud. I think that one works. I think it works beautifully actually with the burlap as well. So I did print off some more of these this morning. Actually, I wonder about the yellow. No, I still think I like the green. I really enjoyed playing with them with the journaling cards, and I've decided that they're going to work really well with the colours in these papers, so I printed off quite a few more sheets this morning. Okay. So pulling the paper in the two opposite directions works as long as you've got pressure in the right spot. I mentioned earlier I was having trouble with the ruler slipping, so I'm putting lots of pressure up here and trying to bring that across the ruler. So if I then shift where my pressure is and tear back the other way, it does give me a fairly good even tear I'm finding. It's not a guaranteed, but like that. Oh dear. Okay. No, I didn't tear the length of it, did I? Okay. Oops. Starting to see how you can end up with a lot of scraps. I thought the crafters I was watching when I first started doing journals were a little bit crazy when they talked about how many scraps they had, because I was struggling to have scraps. It often makes me think about Rachel from Roxy Creations and her 100-day project, which I'm still trying to catch up on. Slow and steady wins the race, they say. And I was watching one of her videos, I don't know, in the last couple of days, and she was talking about the fact that she was almost out of ephemera, and I'm thinking, how can you possibly run out? Like, the amount of ephemera that she was creating was crazy to me. I was quite envious, actually, and I kept thinking to myself, you must have. Well, actually, I did start to wonder. At the beginning, I was like, you must have a lot of scraps. Towards the end, I was like, you must be running out, because, I mean, I realised very quickly that, okay, I need to paperclip these in place so that I can get a vision of whether my page is going to be covered properly. Now, I don't know where I was heading with that conversation. A very one-way conversation. Sometimes I wish you guys could answer me back while I'm actually videoing. Like when I can't decide what I'm doing with something. And I've often thought, I wish they could just tell me. Okay, so it looks like that's going to work. I wasn't sure about this little bit down here. And that's one side already. Clearly I have to ink that, and I'm just thinking maybe I should just turn it over and organize the papers for the other side while you're on camera, and then I can go through and ink and glue either with no volume, or I can do it and pop the volume on there. So I'm thinking perhaps of doing the same process on the other side. And I'll use the same papers for both sides, so from the same collections, if that makes sense. So this again will be the same collection as this, and that way when it's in the signature, they'll be the same collection in each signature. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. So I don't know whether I said earlier, I was thinking I should explain to you. This thought came from my wedding journal. I did something similar in there. And I remember thinking at the time that we keep talking about papers for journals. And I'm constantly making papers, tea staining papers and the like. Looking for different papers I can add, and I have got an incredible amount of books in my space, and to be fair, it's probably the books that are creating the most havoc in my space at the moment. I went on a book hunting frenzy when I first started these journals, and I was picking up books all over the place. I was also playing with altered books. So I was looking for books for more than one purpose. And yeah, I can't go past anywhere that has books that are available without, well, I probably am drooling. I was going to say drooling, and I was like, I don't know about that, but no, I probably am. I seem to have a love affair with books, and the older the better. And so yes, every time I find out there's books available, I'm on it. I want them. And I have a lot. My family would be laughing if they were listening to this right now, because I'm pretty sure my lots of books is not even close to how they would explain it. And that's fine, you know, come see, come saw. Okay, so I want it to go that way. And so I have all this book paper that could be utilized, and in my wedding journal I did a pocket that I created and attached to the book. So this kind of came to me from that concept. And not every one of these will be the same design. So just to let you in on my thought processes again. Having the bigger sheets in the center here too is offering some extra support. These papers are quite thick, but they are aged, so I like the fact that it adds extra stability, especially down the folded edge. Okay. So I'm going to stick with the burlap too, I think. And I may need a different colour tea stain paper, is what I'm thinking. Just wanting to pop this away, as well as this one. Thinking it might be alright to use this. you could use this process to use up scraps too. I did consider it, but I decided I wanted to play with different papers. As I've mentioned before, I want to include some different, or a variety of different papers in this journal. So I'm actually feeling like that kind of works, because I don't necessarily feel like the green works with that paper. So I think I'm going to use this, and I'm not going to put as bigger pieces of this on here because it is quite a rich colour. It's quite vibrant. So that's really pretty, actually. Okay, so that's one. Oh, that's gorgeous. I really love that. Okay, beautiful. Okay, that's made me really happy. So my next one, I'm going to fold in half again. I'm just going to check and make sure. I'm not sure whether I may have to reinforce this part here, and I may do that, I think, before I'm just looking at the other one. I may do that before I glue down my pieces of paper. It doesn't really matter, or does it? It will be at the bottom of the page for this one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'll use across the bottom. It may even just be some, this is like wrapping paper. A little bit shiny on one side. It may even be something like that, just to give it a little bit more stability. I'm not sure, but I will certainly let you know once it's done what I've used. I could just look at this all day. So yes, I will be doing some sort of reinforcement across the bottom. I could use washi tape. I'm just not sure that I want to, because most of it will be covered. So, okay, so that was the AntiquePaperie one. And then I had pulled out, I'm just looking. So I have here the VectoriaDesigns, and I'm going to incorporate these papers together. So I'm thinking those two, because this is a fairly busy pattern and this is a little bit less busy, those two together. And then, oh, which ones? Those two or those two? Okay, let's do one side first. I'm going to do these two first because I can't decide on the other, so maybe once this one's done it will talk to me. I'm just looking at that paper, it's so pretty. The other thing I've done there is stick to odd numbers. So I've got 3 different papers that I'll be using for each page. If I was to choose more papers, I would go with 5. I wouldn't stop at 4. I would stick to 5 different papers to incorporate on the one paper. Okay. I feel like I'm so close to that camera. It's just at a really unusual height, it appears, because I keep touching it with my head, and I don't think it's enough to bump the camera, although if it is, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm wondering what colour to put with. I feel like the blue is too much. I feel like the yellow could work. Or maybe I could just use some tea stain paper. I'll try the yellow. Again, it's just a hint of the tea stain paper. I actually don't mind that, so I think I'm going to stick with that. I'm not sure the yellow will work for the other side, but we will have a look. So if I fold that, that's what you're going to see. That's really lovely. I think I like it even more now that I've seen that folded. And the same with that side. Oh yes, 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 yes. Okay. So we could do this one, which now that we've got the yellow on the other side, the yellow tea stain paper, I feel like it... Actually, maybe we could do the yellow with the blue tea stain paper on this side. Let's give it a go. Maybe we could use the pink and make that little bit of pink that's in there pop. Oh, I think that could really work. I'm kind of picturing the yellow against the pink. I think that would be really pretty. Okay, I'm excited about this one. Actually, I wasn't thinking I would use this yellow one, but I think with the pink it's going to be beautiful. And I'm excited that I've added some of that yellow tea stain paper because I wasn't quite sure how to incorporate that. Okay. feel like I've got that up really high. I don't know why. Okay, so I'm getting a visual of what it's going to be like when it's done, and it's making me really excited. And quite the contrast to the opposite side too. Whereas the other one I feel was similar. Okay, and then I think I need a new pink one. I'm quite amazed at the small size of paper strip I can get using that technique to tear it. I'm impressed that it's working, is what I'm impressed by. Okay. So just tearing one, and I will try. Like I said, I'm just looking for a pop of colour. Whoops. Right. Paper clip that down here. I think that's really pretty. I'm happy with that. This would actually be a great way to use up paper scraps that you have that don't necessarily, like, they're not from the same paper pad or paper pack, whether they're from a paper pad that you buy as a physical item in a store or whether they're from digital kits. It's a great way to use up papers that, like these, complement each other. So you could just work on your colour scheme rather than where they've come from. Okay, so that's, oops, it won't fold that way. That's that one. Oh, I think that's really lovely. And that's the other side. I really hope I'm still recording. That would be... I'm hoping you got all that, because I've just realised that the camera is not quite positioned correctly. Sorry about that. Because I'm noticing now and not at the beginning. So that's one side, and then that's the inside. I really love that one too. Okay, I might stop the video there and restart it, because I have been going for quite some time, so I may have to split this into two as well, but I'll see you soon, everybody. Bye for now. Happy crafting.